What is going on, everyone? It is DylanLasagna here, and I gotta be honest with you guys. You know, the June is almost over, and what's like by the time June ends, we've already reached the halfway point of the year, and I gotta be honest with you. I really don't like how this year has played out. Despite all the positives, it's just been way overshadowed by the negatives. We've had the passing of Kobe, then we had the coronavirus outbreak, then we've had the protests, which have led to so many different things. And now, cancel culture is truly back in effect, which, in my opinion, cancel culture is like the laziest form of activism that there is, but it's there nonetheless. On the bright side, however, I do want to show you guys something right here and right now as I pull up the screen right here, but I can't see to get it working. But here, we'll just do it right here. Drum roll, please. It feels fresh. I have a bowl hair now. I have bowl hair. I finally got a haircut. I decided to cut my hair today. It wasn't easy. It was actually pretty hard. I forgot to take a picture of myself before I cut my hair. But I just pretty much gave myself a trim, and then I want to do something like a slick back when I do actually fix my hair, whenever that will be. And I gotta tell you guys, I grew my hair out for 3 months. Which was technically when the coronavirus outbreak began, and cutting my hair definitely was challenging. But I feel a little bit lighter on the head. It feels good. It feels really good to have a fresh slate of hair. But it does feel a little weird, though. It does feel a little weird having a different hairstyle. But, yeah. Welcome to Ep.63, by the way, of DylanLasagna Live. And that's how your hair-tastic episode of DylanLasagna Live. I'm your host, as always, DylanLasagna. Make sure you like this stream, this episode of the videocast/podcast. And make sure, if you're not already, subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified of all the videos and whenever I am live. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out the Spongebob Battle for Bikini Bottom stream that I did on Tuesday night, when I did a first look at the game. And I'll be giving my sort of first impressions of the game later on in this video cast. And starting next week, I will be rolling out something to commemorate the 10th anniversary of this channel. We're gonna slow burn our way to the 10th anniversary of my channel. I'm gonna be rolling out a couple of commemoration videos, highlighting specific videos, specific top eras, I would like to call it, eras of my channel. It was actually just literally 3 parts of my channel. There was literally my early days, 2010, 2012, and then we had the brony era of DylanLasagna. We had 2013, 2014, and then we had the resurrection of of my channel back in 5 years ago, when I started making content. Like, I was actually committed to making content from 2015 to now, and then I went through kind of like different phases of like content, and I actually kind of really felt committed to being a variety channel. That's when I like really felt that variety was my thing. So we're gonna be going in. I'm gonna be like start producing those over the weekend, and then edit them, and then I want to have them out throughout next week. So be on the lookout for that. And I don't know. I'm thinking of doing a stream on the day of the 10th anniversary. I think it was July 8th, which was when I made my YouTube channel, but my first video actually came out the next day after that. So I don't know if I want to stream on the day I created my channel or the day my first video came out. So we shall see. But stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. And stay tuned for the videos that are going to come out to commemorate the 10th anniversary of my channel. So let's talk about some random tidbits, because there were a couple of them that just came out now. If you all remember Family Guy, and the character Cleveland Brown, I'm not going to go too deep into this one, but Mike Henry, the voice actor for Cleveland Brown, is not voicing Mike Henry is not voicing Cleveland anymore. He stated on Twitter the following: "It's been an honor to play Cleveland on Family Guy for 20 years. I love this character, but persons of color should play characters of color. Therefore, I will be stepping down from the role." So there you go. Mike Henry is not going to be voicing the character of Cleveland, and that's that. Then apparently, Twitch bans are going to full effect, like literally throughout the whole week. I don't know if you guys heard of Dr. Disrespect. I've heard of his name like a couple of times. But apparently Dr. Disrespect got permabanned from Twitch. So I'm reading this from Dave Thier of Forbes. Celebrity streamer Dr. Disrespect has been banned from Twitch, making it for a striking decision for a streamer with more than 4 million followers and an exclusivity deal. While this is his second ban, reliable streaming and esports insider Rod Brazulao said that his ban is permanent. At this point, it's unclear why Disrespect was banned. His first one came from while recording inside the bathroom at the LA Convention Center during E3, but it was only temporary. At this time, Disrespect has yet to update his Twitter account. And then this permaban comes after a series of sexual misconduct accusations in both the streaming world and the broader video game industry. Though there's no evidence that Disrespect's ban is related to the recent string of bans. And then Twitch recently made a statement about its ongoing efforts to limit impropriety on the platform, and they said the following: "We want to provide an update on our investigations into the recent allegations of sexual abuse and harassment involving Twitch streamers and actions we're taking. We are reviewing each case that has come to light as quickly as possible while ensuring appropriate due diligence as we assess these serious allegations. We've prioritized the most severe cases and will begin issuing permanent suspensions in line with our findings immediately. In many of the cases, the alleged incident took place off Twitch and we need more information to make a determination. In some cases, we will need to report the case to the proper authorities who are better placed to conduct a more thorough investigation. For those who've come forward and would like to share additional information, and to anyone who hasn't shared their experience and wants to do so, you can report confidentially through the reporting tools on each streamer's channel page." And that is that. And I also saw on here, let's see. Doug Nasty Optimus said his name's so weird. Optimus says that his contracted mandated at least 10 except the oh no. It was like hold on. I think from what I saw on Twitter, he was saying that Dr. Disrespect seems to be done as well. And like I will say this about Twitch. Here's the thing I see a problem with on Twitch. It's hard to grow on not just YouTube, but like literally everywhere you try to be a content creator or a streamer. But Twitch, it's like I know I can't speak on people's behalf, but it seems like a really hard platform to grow on, and that's the reason. That's one of the reasons why I haven't made a move to Twitch or expanded my channel on Twitch, and I don't know how a lot of things work on Twitch, like gifting subs or like sub and followers. It's like there's a lot of complicated stuff. Even though YouTube is not like the most popular place for streaming, it's kind of like I like it simple, you know. It's pretty laid back. There are super chats. There's the subscribe button, the like button. That's pretty much for me. That's all I need, you know. Again, I don't do this for the revenue. I just do this purely for fun. But as for Dr. Disrespect, you're innocent until you're proven guilty. If there are allegations, then, well, I don't know what to tell you. But I will say this: if Twitch is really gonna mass ban people for heinous acts, then why aren't they banning Alinity yet? Oh yeah, because they're giving her the. Do you even know what that chick has done over the past like couple of years, like from anal abuse to flashing her titties on stream, and that was accidental, but it's still. She did get a temporary suspend, like a 1 day or 2 day suspension for that, but still, it's like the worst one was animal abuse from Alinity. Like giving her cat vodka, like yeeting her cat, and then she climbed up the cat tower and fell. How is Alinity not banned and other streamers are getting mass banned? It's crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, that's that, and that's your random tidbits for this week. Let's get into the main topics, but first, there is somebody in the chat. Alex and JD Jordan, what is going on? How are you doing tonight? So let's get into our topics for tonight. The first one being Min Min. Min Min was the fighter revealed for the second Fighter's Pass for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. For obviously, she's the first one to kick off that Fighter's Pass. Now, if you recall, before we didn't know that Min Min was going to be the fighter for Smash Bros. Ultimate, Nintendo revealed back in March they were going to kick off the second wave of Smash DLC with an ARMS character. And if you also recall, people were pissed about said character getting to Smash. They're pretty much kind of like how they were with Byleth. And they were getting pretty mad. That's all I could say. And let's just say I kind of rubbed it in their faces on this podcast. So that was back in March. and we didn't know much about what to expect. Like when this ARMS character was going to be revealed, other than June. And June rolls around. It was last week, last Friday, to be exact. And now, like, Nintendo out of nowhere reveals that the ARMS character is going to be revealed on Monday, this past Monday. But going in, we still had some unanswered questions. Going into not just the ARMS reveal, but this fighters pack. Who was going to be the ARMS character? Before we found out, that was going to be represented in Smash. Could have been Springman and Ribbon Girl, literally, like, which would have literally broken the biggest fan rule of them all, in which that assist trophies can't be upgraded to playable character. Or would it be someone like a fan favorite, like Min Min would, like, which would she eventually become? Or would it have been Twintail, another fan favorite that people liked for reasons? You know, not the reasons that, oh, she's a really good character, you know, for reasons. But anyway, or would it be some other, like, ARMS character, like Ninjara, Master Mummy, or some other character? Again, I only played the ARMS demo, and I only thought it was a decent game, and I played as Ribbon Girl. The other questions were going to be, how are people going to react? Were they going to react the same way they reacted to the ARMS reveal back in March? Were they going to react in the same way as the Byleth reveal, or like any other way? What information would come out, like, other than the ARMS character? I mean, going in, it's like, that's all we were going to get. Nintendo was explicit that no other fighter was going to be revealed other than the ARMS character. But we didn't, other than that, we didn't know what else to expect. So Monday comes, I wake my early ass up to hop on a stream, which is now deleted thanks to my dumbass. Long story short, I accidentally deleted the live stream where I reacted to the ARMS reveal, and while doing a bunch of test streams. So that's that. But anyway, I wake my ass up, like, on Monday morning to see the Smash reveal, the Smash and ARMS reveal. And I will say this, Sakurai did a really good job telling gamers the reality of the situation we're in, that COVID is presenting a lot of challenges, on the gaming industry, and it's presenting a lot of challenges on DLC development in Smash. And I liked how Nintendo gave, like, Sakurai equipment to even present the damn thing, you know? And, you know, that's the reality of the situation. He even said it, like, that he said himself. It's like, he doesn't know if and when this COVID thing is going to be over and done with. So he gives it that spiel. He then goes into a spiel about what ARMS is. Mind you, this is a game that came out 3 years ago, and we're now, like, this is a good thing, you go, because ARMS was not a game that people gave that many shits about, other than the ARMS fan base. He gives an explanation about what ARMS is, and then he went into the reveal. So, in the trailer, we get Captain Falcon and Kirby in a ramen shop, and before it transitions into Spring Stadium, where we see Springman defeat a robot police officer. At first, I thought it was gonna be Springman. I literally was like nervous as heck, and at the same time, I was also kind of excited that it was gonna be Springman. But then I also thought, man, the Smash community is gonna explode, like in a bad way, if it's Springman and Ribbon Girl, because that's like the predictable pick. And then, well, Springman picks up the envelope. Ribbon Girl punches him, and then she grabs the letter. But then here comes Ninjara, Twintel, and then the rest of the Arms cast. They start fighting each other to see who gets the right to be in Smash Bros. Then it transitions back to the ramen shop, and we see the waitress rush to the stadium, and then we see all the Arms fighters are literally dead on the floor, and the waitress grabs the envelope, and then we find out it's Min Min. Yep, it's Min Min that's going to be arming her way into Smash Bros. And I gotta say, first of all, let's take a look at the trailer, because for one specific reason, let me pull up because my Stream Deck is not working for some reason. I love the artwork. I love the artwork in this trailer. I think this, for me, out of all the Smash reveals, this was my favorite. This is my favorite for the artwork alone. And can we just say Springman had the, like, this is gonna be a meme for like years, like within, not just within the Smash community, but within, like, in general. And I think Min Min's gonna be fun to play. Now clearly she's not gonna be a really good like close range combat kind of fighter because of her long reaching arms, and that's the point of arms. It stretches, like exactly what he says. He even had a spring with them, so she has the long reaching arms for long range attacks. That's her specialty. But the thing is, it's gonna be a little bit of a struggle against aerial and close range combat, and that's what they pointed out. And I hope it's not too much of a struggle, because it's like, I think that's gonna lead to some problems playing as her. They also presented her moveset, and I don't know if this is a problem, but I don't think not really. Which kind of makes her unique too, because it's like the only special move she has is her up recovery, which is like she uses her dragon arm, like when she's off stage, and uses it to grab the ledge, and then when she's on stage, she just uses both of her arms to avoid attacks. So that, I think that's pretty cool. And then her down B is to change her arm, which is like a wrecking ball, or a second dragon arm, or what was the other one in here? It's a boomerang. It's kind of like a boomerang arm, sort of thing. And then, but other than that, not too many special moves for Min Min, because both A and B control her arms. The A button controls her dragon arm, and then the B button controls her other arm. So I think Min Min's gonna be a pretty cool character to play, and when she is like from a long distance, her attacks seem to look like they're gonna be pretty significant. They also, like, Sakurai also explained why the arms rep wasn't Springman or Ribbon Girl. And that was for two reasons. That's because the ARMS producer, Kosuke Yabuki, his favorite character was Min. And he specifically wanted her. So that explains a lot. That was a good reason. And I thought this was an interesting reason too. Yabuki considered every character of ARMS as a protagonist. So I thought that was an interesting kind of point. It's like, so even if Springman is a protagonist, let me rephrase that. Even if every ARMS character is a protagonist, I still think Springman is the cover man. He was still part of the cover along with Ribbon Girl. So they could have been. I still thought they deserved a spot in Smash, but I do have some flack. I still have some. I let it slide because that the producer wanted Min, and maybe he didn't see anything in a Springman or Ribbon Girl like the ARMS community did. So, what does this mean for the rest of the Fighters Pass? Well, one thing, Springman is essentially an assist trophy forever until the next Smash game, whenever that is. I will say, however, the ARMS cast does get a nice representation in Min's final Smash, so that's something. But as for the rest of the Fighters Pass, I think there's no more arguing that spirits can't be playable characters. So Min was a spirit prior to being revealed as a DLC character in Smash. So could we see another one be upgraded to a playable character? It's a possibility. But then that also leaves the question, what about spirits that are also assist trophies? Could we see Sakurai obliterate the rule, the one big rule of assist trophies and deconfirm playable upgradability to playable character? That remains to be seen. I know a lot of people still want Waluigi. There are a lot of crazy people that still want Waluigi. And who knows? Maybe Sakurai will give Waluigi. Maybe he won't. But it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. Man, I think my glasses are reflecting on my ring light so hard that I can't see myself. But anyway, going forward, I do want to give you guys an opportunity to give your take in the chat. Who do you think is gonna fill the other 5 slots in the Fighters Pass? Because we do have 5 slots left, and I'll be honest with you. After the Min reveal, it can go many ways. It can literally go many, many ways. They can go four Nintendo, 4 Nintendo characters, 2 third party, or they can do all Nintendo characters and no third party. But it's what Nintendo characters could you possibly put other than, let's say, you got Min already. You could put Rex and Pyra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Maybe Waluigi. Or I don't know who else can you put? And maybe another maybe Gino. Yes, that obscure character that everyone wants so badly, but nobody's really gonna nobody outside of the core Smash or Mario RPGs community is gonna know who he is. Or they could go split 50-50 down the middle. Like, half Nintendo, half third party. I mean, there are 6 characters. They could do 3. They could go half and half with this. Why not? So, I do think... I do believe that one of these fighter pass characters is going to be Rex and Pyra. Because think about it. It's like, as much as I didn't like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I still do think they deserve representation in Smash Bros. Because if we already got ARMS represented in Smash, because they should have been in the base game, they should have been the base roster for Smash, but it wasn't. But they made up for it with the Min reveal, and we now know that we knew for years that Rex was too late for Smash development, because for some odd reason Xenoblade Chronicles 2 wasn't done yet. So I do think that at least some of the Nintendo characters that were too late to make the cut in the base roster of Smash Ultimate, they're gonna find their way into the game through this Fighters Pass. That's why I think that Rex and Pyra they could get in, but I still have a firm belief that they will get in. What's going on? Zenitsu.mp4. What's going on, man? Like, I do think that it's a good possibility. Plus, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is like a one of the top titles for the Nintendo Switch, a top selling title for the Nintendo Switch, like one of them at least. But what about third party? It's like, what could they possibly dig up from the third party realm? I mean, let's be real. It's like the most popular and requested character left is a certain Bandicoot who just got a redesign along with his sister. Hint, hint. And even though fan polls don't mean jack shit, he was number 1 on a fan poll run by Source Gaming. But anyway, by his side, Crash Bandicoot, I think, is the last remaining most popular character left. In that last remaining most popular retro third-party character left that needs to be in Smash Bros. That was kind of the one thing I was really worried about in the presentation for ARMS is the Mii costume part. I was really worried about that because they presented the Mii costumes, and they were like, I think 4 or 5 of them, and 2 of them were Callie and Marie of the Squid Sisters from Splatoon. By the way, they look hella creepy. One of them was Vault Boy from Fallout, and I forgot. Oh yeah, Heihachi, from Tekken, and I forgot what the other one was. Like, other than those 4, I think it was just 4. But yeah, but I was really worried that Crash could have been a Mii costume, and don't get me wrong, he still could be, and in a future presentation / reveal. And to be honest with you, I think that would be a great disservice. That would be really disappointing, And if Activision really does that, if Activision really relegates Crash to a Mii costume, I think that's a really big letdown. I mean, it doesn't matter if he's represented in Smash. It's like, I think that's a letdown. It really is. It's just not the right representation, It's like Crash Bandicoot is the last retro character that out of Banjo and Kazooie and all the other retro characters, like Mario and Sonic, had been around for years. Out of Rayman, hear me out. Banjo, Rayman, Spyro. Crash has had the most success for a revival. That's just being real. So, and with Activision, despite how greedy they are, Activision sees, like, when Activision sees money, they will follow. And I think Activision still does pretty well with the Nintendo Switch. Like, the Insane Trilogy is the third or second most well sold game on the Nintendo Switch, and then they also got Nitro Fueled on there on the Switch, and sooner or later, at some point, maybe a year after, 6 months to a year after, they're gonna put Crash 4 on the Switch. So I don't see a reason why Crash can't be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And I don't know why. Like, if he doesn't end up in there at all, or is relegated to a Mii costume, I can't see why Nintendo didn't or couldn't get him in the first place. But again, there's my bias for Crash. That's my pitch for Crash. And I know there's a lot of people out there that want him too. And I'm still hoping for a Coco alt. But you could also see maybe Sora. But again, you have to battle with Disney. You have to think about how much material Square and Disney, it's not just Square this time, it's also Disney. It's also Disney you have to worry about, because there's a lot of Keyblades and a lot of assists that Sora has in Kingdom Hearts that are Disney related. So I don't know how much Sakurai is going to be given to have Sora properly represented in Smash. So I don't even know if it's worth gambling to have Sora in there without any kind of proper representation. Then you could also have maybe Doomslayer, and then Dante. But third party, it's anyone's guess. But you should at least have Crash Bandicoot. at least Crash Bandicoot. I don't know why I see, I know I'm being biased here, but I don't know why at least, there are some people out there on their wish list or on their, polls that don't have Crash Bandicoot on their, on their Fighters Pass wish list. It's ridiculous. It's I don't know. Maybe they didn't grow up with the marsupial. But we shall see. I don't see another reveal happening until much later on. Who knows? We might not even get another reveal because of COVID-19. But we shall see. We shall see. Anyway, let's go to the live chat. ZXNitsu.mp4 says, Crash Bandicoot needs to be in Smash because, yes, he might look weird in the Mii costume. I definitely agree, and I made my point on that. Hold on a second. I actually need to run out real quick. We will get back to the podcast real quick. I just need to check on something real quick. So I will be right back. Okay, let's get back into it. Sorry about that. I was debating on food. It's almost dinner time. But anyway, speaking of Crash Bandicoot, let's talk about the new Crash Bandicoot game. I mentioned last week on my podcast that a new Crash Bandicoot was leaked by the Taiwanese game ratings board. And on the following Monday, where my phone needs to shut the fuck up, let's take out the batteries on this thing. That worked last time, right? But anyway, on the following Monday, the new game was officially unveiled on Jeff Keighley's Summer of Gaming show. And let's kind of take a look at the trailer. Let's take a look at the trailer here, by the way. It was copyright hit before I accidentally deleted the stream. Let me pull up this. I forgot which one it was. There it is. Let's take a look at the trailer here. And I jotted down a couple notes here. And we knew about the following. We got a new story involving Crash Bandicoot, and we can see some new worlds here. This new story picks up right after Warped, so it's a new timeline actually, but I'll get into that later, where Cortex and Uka Uka and all the other villains have escaped from the time prison, and they have created this multi-universal rift. And Crash Bandicoot has teamed up with some new masks that give him different abilities, like anti-gravity, and I forgot what the other one was. Like, you'll see it in this one. Oh yeah, and Crash can do like gliding now, or grinding, or whatever. So it's kind of like a more platform styling game, kind of like Twinsanity was. So, damn it. Why is the dog barking? It's gonna get hot in here. It's gonna get hot in here. Alright, so anyway. So we got the trailer here. And it's called It's About Time. And we got the new Crash design. He kind of looks okay. Nothing much has changed other than his face looks different. No neck. Like, no more neck. And his fur is not as realistic as the Insane design was, but it looks okay. It looks all right. Nothing much different. But yeah, nothing much has changed there. And then you can grind now. You still got the surfboarding from we got the surfboarding from Crash 2. And then there are the masks that give him new powers. Oh yeah, anti-gravity. And then I forgot what this mask does. Oh, it's like super speed. We got a couple new worlds here, like underwater, prehistoric. It's kind of like a historical world. I mean, you got hints of the golden Wumper fruit from Nitro Fueled. And then we also got a new design for Cortex. It's kind of like, has that design from Twinsanity, and it looks okay. It's like, I won't mind that much, but you also get to play as Cortex, which is kind of interesting. And here's the thing. That this was the character design that was very off-putting to me. Coco's design is like, I'm still not open to. she has changed a lot more, I would say. Like her facial dimensions are are more like squished, I would say. And I will admit that the less fur, the better. She also has the goggles now from the mobile game. Her hair is not as bright as the Insane was. You do get to put. Oh, she's. I thought I said that she doesn't have the laptop, but apparently she does now. But that is her trademark anyway. But I do think that her design is. I don't know. What do you guys think about Coco's design? I think that it's kind of like in some parts it's okay, but like here it's very inconsistent. It's like too squished. Like I don't know how to feel. Like I just don't think Coco got a good design out of it. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. But other than that, it is what it is. It's like it's not going to change the way I played the game, but it's weird how they went with that design for her. But now here's the thing about the story. They label this as Crash 4. But Wrath the Cortex is like technically the 4th game, and this is the 8th game overall in the Crash series. So is like Wrath the Cortex non-canon now, or it's like it's alternate timeline? And if it is an alternate timeline, does this completely erase like the characters from the Wrath the Cortex timeline? So it erases like characters like Crunch, Nina Cortex, Chicken Stew from Nitro Kart, and like the other characters that were in that timeline. I don't know how it's gonna play out. And Activision did say they were looking at other consoles too. So the question is when it's gonna come out. And again, as I said in the previous topic, if history repeats itself, like with the Insane trilogy and like Spyro Reunited trilogy, there may as well be a Switch version on the way. And is it coming to next gen consoles like PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X? I think it is coming to Xbox Series X because there was the banner on the Xbox cover art where it says Xbox One and Xbox Series X. But we'll see. I'm excited for this game. I really am. And I do agree, ZX Nitsu, that Coco's design is meh. It's eh. But you know what? We'll see over time if we can grow accustomed to it. But so far, I am not. I am not. Before we get into some wrestling topics here on the show, I want to give my brief first thoughts on SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. If you all saw my channel, I did a live stream on Tuesday doing a first look at the new SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom remake. And I just want to give you all some of my first impressions of the game after I completed the first level, which was Jellyfish Fields. The story seems pretty simplistic, you know. It's like Plankton goofed up on yet another evil scheme, and now he's doing absolutely nothing to fix the mess, so SpongeBob has to clean it up for him with his killer robots that have gone really everywhere around Bikini Bottom. Because Plankton forgot to set it to obey. No wonder why you can't get the Krabby Patty secret formula, Plankton. Gameplay. It's kind of like Spyro Reignited Trilogy, except there's some differences. So it's like a collectathon, pretty much. Shiny objects, which are which is the currency in the game. They're all over the map. They're either in open areas or they're in like tiki crates. But the thing here is, it's that, and unlike with Spyro, where like even when you like die or lose a life or whatever, it's like the gem's not there anymore. The shiny objects like reappear, and your shiny object counter, it doesn't reset. It's like it add-ons. It's adding on to it. Which I find weird, I would have thought that, when you're at your last checkpoint, when you respawn at the last checkpoint, I would have thought that the shiny object counter would have reset, but you can add on to it, and I think that's kind of like a cop. I don't know. This is my opinion. I think it's kind of a cop out. It's like too easy of a way to get the golden spatulas in the game. Especially for Mr. Krabs, who's kind of like the equivalent to Moneybags from Spyro. But that's just my opinion. And I find that really weird. In regards to graphics and tech specs, which I don't really touch on that much because, I'm all about the gameplay. When it comes to video games, I find them like just nearly on par with the other consoles. It's just fuzzy, like on the edges of the characters most of the time, and then objects have to like pop in like when you get close to them, and I kind of find that off-putting, but it's not that much of a distraction to me. But they do get kind of annoying. I will say that. Loading times can be a little long, but for me, I barely notice them. Unless if you're impatient. Unless if you are impatient. And here, I guess you could call this my biggest complaint. The sound quality. It's very inconsistent. It's like when you're going through the level, it's like fine. But when I was doing the King Jellyfish boss battle, the sound dipped. Like the sound quality like dropped down like halfway down. And it's like I couldn't hear anything. Like I couldn't hear anything from the track. And speaking of the background music, I thought it was fine. I kind of like the background music in the game. It's reminiscent of an actual SpongeBob episode, but the problem is it's like I don't know why it doesn't loop. It doesn't like loop like in a Crash Bandicoot game or a Spyro game. It's like the track plays and then it stops, and then it's like when you play a song on your phone, it's like you played a song, and then if you have it like playing a song on repeat, if you play a song and then there's that little like gap at the like that little thing at the end where there's like silent, and then the song plays again. It's like that in Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. I find that really weird that they didn't at least fix that. So what do I think about Battle for Bikini Bottom so far? There are some technical issues that I've encountered, but nothing game breaking yet. I'm probably gonna have some game breaking or game shattering issues when I get there, like maybe in downtown Bikini Bottom or some other level, like in the much later levels. But I think it's a very simple platforming game. It's a simple collectathon game that I can get lost into, that I can dive deep into. I'm a SpongeBob fan, and I like the Switch. It's just kind of it does kind of suck that the Switch version is the worst version, obviously. But I think the game is still pretty fun. I do hope to stream it some more. When I have time, the time, and yeah, that's what I think about the game so far. Bazor has entered the chat and says, "I missed your YTP reactions. I do miss doing them, but at the same time, it's just like, first of all, I miss doing them as well, but I just like can't deal with I can't deal with the copyright claims anymore, and two, it's like there hasn't been really that much YouTube poops, like really good YouTube poops to react to anymore. It's like every time there's a YouTube poop out there, it gets taken down like literally like a week or two after, because like the company of the original source material, let's say it's Spongebob, and they're owned by Viacom. Viacom is like a bitch, and they take it down. Like they take down the YouTube poop because it's like, oh no, we don't want Spongebob seen this way, and let's like take it down. Let's take down the YouTube poop. So it's like it's been happening like at a rapid pace like throughout the last year or two. It's like all the YTPs that you saw like from 10 years ago or even 5 years ago are now gone. It's like it's gone. Like all the good YTPs from all those years ago are gone. And the YTPs out there now, it's like it's either okay or it's like not as good because of the censors, either of the censoring, or it's because of Viacom and these other companies that don't want to see YouTube poops, they keep taking them down. So that's why I don't do YouTube poops as much anymore. And besides, it's like the whole Charmix situation. It did not just help me learn a thing or two about reaction videos, but at the same time, it's just like the whole thing where people were calling me out for being a Charmix copycat. It kind of like made me like lose my love for doing reaction videos. And it wasn't even like reaction videos, in all honesty, it's not even like original stuff. Like anyway, Zenitsu said the Bikini Bottom game has a 2000s feel to it. It does. But you know, I can't really say much like about it yet because I haven't played the whole thing. But I really wish I could play the original. All right, let's get into some wrestling news, some pro wrestling news, because oh god, there's a lot of it to dissect here. Let's start with WWE Backstage. Not like Backstage news, the show WWE Backstage, because it's no longer going to be produced weekly. Let me pull up this thing here. So John Orend of the Sports Business Journal reported on Monday that Fox Sports 1 is scaling back on production on its boxing and WWE shoulder programming. WWE Backstage, and I quote, will not be produced weekly, and it's also eliminating Inside Premier Boxing Champions, yada yada, double-digit job losses as a result. Sports Business Journal media, they had the full story, yada yada. And then Fox Sports issued a statement on Monday saying that they announced programming changes designed to better address the needs for our business. As a result, some positions in our production department have been eliminated. As I mentioned before, Backstage will no longer be produced weekly, and Fox Sports added onto it by saying that it is transitioning to a show that's going to be produced only around big events and pay-per-view matches. But Pro Wrestling Insider's Mike Johnson reported that the show is effectively done. And I will be honest with you, I think so too. I think that WWE Backstage is pretty much done at this point. I will say this, like, I'm gonna try not to be too hard because, like, Renee Young, she's kind of had a really bad week. Renee Young has always done, for the most part, well as a host. Like, she does a really good job hosting. She's done a really good job hosting. Like, she's a really good backstage interviewer. And the only thing she was forced into was commentary, and like, I thought she was unprepared in that. But other than that, hosting was her thing. You know, she's really well into it. But WWE Backstage, I feel like Fox Sports failed WWE from the start, like, with this project. I feel like they failed Renee Young, especially with WWE Backstage, and I will tell you why. The biggest problem was its time slot. Who wants to listen to people talk wrestling on television at 11 p.m. on the East Coast? Now, if you're on the West Coast, you can let it slide a little bit, but there are just so many other avenues of wrestling, like wrestle talking, that is much better out there. You can listen to Sean Ross Sapp. You can listen to sorry, I can't breathe. I'm running out of breath here. You can listen to, like, sorry, I'm gonna probably get a terrible example here. You can listen to, like, the No DQ review. You can, like, when he doesn't present terrible takes, when he doesn't present like really shitty takes, sometimes you can listen to JD from New York's Off the Scripts. Again, that's only if he doesn't present really shitty takes. You can also listen to Brian Alvarez, like, but when he's on a rant. But other than that, Backstage was set up to fail because of its time slot, and I think at 11 p.m. was its biggest failure. And I felt like they were held back. Like, they were holding themselves back. Not like the show format itself, but everyone except for CM Punk that was on that show, they set themselves up. Like, they were holding themselves back. And as a result, it felt like just like a talk show. It just felt like, how can I say it? It felt like Sports Center, but it felt like an NFL Live or like a Sports Center, but nothing was really happening. I felt like everyone was just shilling the crap. They were just white knighting the crap on the current WWE product, the current storylines of that was going on in the WWE. If you watched Talking Smack, they went raw. They went unfiltered on that show. If you go on YouTube, search up The Miz. Search up The Miz's promo from a Talking Smack episode. I think it was the first one. And you'll see why Talking Smack did miles better than Backstage ever did. So, Backstage consisted of everyone but Punk shilling for nearly every little thing about WWE. But on the flip side, can you really blame them though? So, unlike Punk and Pro Wrestling Sheet's Ryan Satin, who were employed by Fox and not WWE, Renee, Booker T, Christian, and Paige, they can't like express their true opinions about the wrestlers, the storylines, the WWE themselves, without getting fired. Without getting fired by the company. It's like, every time that Punk is there, he's like spitting out like literally criticism that he can. Like as much criticism, like not as much criticism as he can, but he's just spitting out how he really feels about a storyline that's on TV. So why do you think WWE doesn't promote Punk whenever he's on Backstage? And then my last point here is that what was up with the ripoff, like the let's get the Adam Schefter for Backstage, but he's not. He's just he was a TMZ version of Adam Schefter. Ryan Satin's segment, the Satan Sheet, that was a complete waste. But I hope Ryan Satin got something out of the experience from working with WWE. But yeah, his segment was pretty much worthless, especially now because literally his two biggest stories that he ever broke, the return of John Morrison and Gronk going to WWE, all wasted in the end. It's like John Morrison's not doing shit on SmackDown, and Gronk is back to playing with Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. But that's what happens when even WWE's own employees aren't allowed to run their show the way they can. And I know I said it wasn't going to be hard on this piece on this topic, but I just had to, and I do apologize because I know Renee lost her show and she got even more worse news that we're going to go into later. Crash Bandicoot. Oh shit. Crash Bandicoot himself has entered the chat. Holy shit. Yes, I did talk about your game earlier. Crash Bandicoot, and I do like it. I did have a couple of issues. Especially with your sister's new design. I had an issue with that, but that doesn't change the fact that this game looks interesting to play, and I'm eager to learn more about it. So I'm excited to see what they're gonna reveal next about Crash 4. So let's take a look now at Charlotte Flair, everybody's favorite wrestler. So it was reported on Monday night after Raw that Charlotte Flair is taking a break. Hallelujah. I'm kidding. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer first reported on Monday of the news that Charlotte Flair is taking a break from WWE to have surgery. And then Mike Johnson of Pro Wrestling Insider reported that Flair is undergoing a planned elective surgery. I don't know what an elective surgery is, but they didn't specify on what she was having surgery on. I hope it's not like a surgery for what. So from there were some conflicting reports on when Charlotte was going to return, because now that Becky Lynch is gone and now they don't have Charlotte for who knows how long, WWE has nobody on the women's division. All they have left is Bayley and Sasha Banks, but have they really done anything? in the last year or two. So back to Charlotte before I get into my thoughts and opinions on this. Meltzer reported that WWE is hopeful that Charlotte will be back in time for SummerSlam. And then Johnson from Pro Wrestling Insider reported that Charlotte's expected to be out for that same time frame, like 6 weeks. But Alex McCarthy of TalkSport gave a new report that Charlotte's going to be out longer. She's in addition to the surgery, she's going to take some personal time off. And he said the following. The idea is that she will return around Royal Rumble season next year. But if a good story pops up before then, around Survivor Series, she would be open to return later this year. But that was some conflicting reports. So Charlotte went on a conference call with Sports Hiatus on Wednesday and pretty much debunked all the reports of how long she's going to be gone. And she said that she's only going to be gone for a few weeks at best. But she didn't say why she was going to be gone. So, as much as I roast WWE for overbooking and overexposing Charlotte Flair, I wish her the best of luck. I hope she's doing fine. And I hope whatever injury she's having, it's not as severe as Meltzer or like McCarthy is describing it. But at the same time, it's good that Charlotte's taking a break. Even at a time where Becky Lynch is gone, and now there's literally no top star in the women's division, this is an opportunity for WWE to finally, literally in a corner where they have to book other women's wrestlers. Like, whatever they got during this COVID-19 pandemic. Like who did they even have? Who did they even have during this COVID-19 pandemic? For the women's division. I know some of them don't want to work. They don't want to travel during this time. But there were a couple. There was Ruby Riott. There was Liv Morgan, Natalya, Lana, Kairi Sane. Where the heck she been? Asuka. Time to build them up. And then on SmackDown, pretty much all you got is Carmella, Naomi, and Bayley and Sasha Banks. Oh yeah, I forgot about Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. And then, of course, the Moronics! And then, yeah, that's pretty much all you got. So, outside of Alexa, Bayley, and Sasha Banks, they need to build. They should use, even if it's just a few weeks, they need to build around this women's division. Unless, they want to fuck it up again. They want to, once Charlotte comes back, they can just ruin the whole thing again. But, Charlotte's time off, I think, will and should give fans a reason to maybe miss her. Hopefully. But then again, it's Charlotte Flair's been so overexposed for so long that people, to this point, hate her. It's the only reason why I don't like Charlotte, it's not because of her wrestling, but because it's she's literally dragging the women's division down. It's she's not elevating anyone. So maybe with this break, the whole women's division can step up. WWE Creative can, whatever, creative bull they got, they can step up and book the women's division, outside of Banks, Bliss, and Sasha and Bayley. They can find someone that can step up in the absence of Becky and Charlotte. But, I don't know if WWE will. I don't know if they will. We kind of got some breaking news. Not in relation to wrestling, but with the NBA. And we got some news about the NBA's return. So they just dropped the revised NBA schedule. The NBA restart is happening July 30th, and they got a couple games on tap. These are just the highlight taps. So we've got the Utah Jazz versus the New Orleans Pelicans, and then the LA Clippers versus the LA Lakers. Then we got 6 games on July 31st. Holy shit. And then, oh geez, Louise. So, hold on a second here. Does it say how many when I forgot when the playoffs start? Oh. Hold on. Wait, is this? Oh, here we go. So everyone's literally playing a game. Wow, okay. So let's see here. Okay, so they're only playing games until this is for regular seasons. For regular season. They have games lined up until Friday, August 14th. Oh boy. I don't know if they should really be playing games right now. Because this last topic is it's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a doozy. Wednesday afternoon. Pro Wrestling Sheet's Ryan Satin reported that multiple people in WWE tested positive for COVID-19. Then Mike Johnson, a Pro Wrestling Insider, later followed up with that by reporting that a source within WWE believes that the positives are in the 24. But obviously they have yet to confirm that. Johnson also said that the WWE began emailing talent and staff about the new positive COVID test result on Monday, advising them to get tested again. He was told that multiple positives came out of the new round of tests. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful later reported that no friends and family would be allowed at this weekend's set of tapings, which they're still doing. And SmackDown is SmackDown is airing on Fox right now was taped earlier today. John Pollock of Post Wrestling reported that the new schedule would see, it would have seen double tapings of SmackDown and Raw on both Friday and Saturday, but the Raw taping has been canceled for today. So they're going to tape that tomorrow. Both Sean Ross Sapp and Mike Johnson reported on yesterday, that WWE did another round of COVID testing via a drive-thru, and those that brought in were the ones who weren't emailed on Monday and Tuesday, as they sought out a test following the discovery of multiple positive tests. They both also mentioned that those that tested negative during the June 16th round of testing were also brought to the Performance Center and given another test. Ross, Sapp, and Johnson both noted that those who aren't tested won't be cleared to work the tapings, and anyone who has tested positive won't be cleared to be there at all. And this is where the problems start to begin. As I wrote this down, 3 people within WWE publicly disclosed they had COVID-19. And then an additional person disclosed they had COVID-19. One of those people who I mentioned earlier had COVID-19. And that person was Renee Young. Renee Young came out on Wednesday as soon as Dynamite ended, and announced on Twitter that she has COVID-19. First, your show gets canceled, and now you test positive for COVID-19. This was a really shitty week for her, and I feel real bad for her. Now, what this means for Jon Moxley, her husband, I don't know. And that's because Tony Khan on Twitter announced that Jon Moxley was pulled from Wednesday's Dynamite for precautionary reasons, because Moxley came into contact with someone who tested positive for COVID, and he told AEW he was going to stay home so he could test himself. And going into Friday's SmackDown, multiple wrestling outlets reported that Renee Young was sick going into it, and she went to get tested, and she tested positive. Tested at her home in Vegas and tested positive. So we're there with that. So the other person that disclosed they had COVID was Kayla Braxton, the SmackDown Backstage interviewer and host of The Bump on social media. Kayla Braxton revealed that she had it again. Yeah, you can catch COVID twice, more than once. So, remember how I mentioned that someone tested positive for COVID back in March, around March or April, and it was a female reporter? Now we know who it is. It was Kayla Braxton, and God, this is all around terrible, man. And I was gonna save it for my analysis later, but who knows who else could have caught it? You know, who knows who else could have came into contact with Renee and Kayla. It's terrible. It's really terrible. Then the third and fourth ones were WWE producers Adam Pearce, who got it on his birthday, which really sucks, and Jamie Noble, which also sucks. And I want you all to listen to this response by WWE. I want you to really delve into this response, because I think this is the stupidest thing they could say right now. This is it's like they're doubling down on this. It's like they're being completely oblivious to the situation right now. It's like, oh, we got caught. But it's like, oh, we got caught, and yeah, that's it. It's like we're even though we got caught, we're just gonna proceed as normal. So WWE responded on Wednesday. They said WWE will continue COVID-19 testing of its talent, production crew, and employees in advance of TV productions for the foreseeable future. They should have been doing that from the beginning. It's like this, and it gets even better from here. WWE Executive Vice President of Global Head of Sales and Partnerships, John Brody, was on a conference call with Sports Hiatus, and he had the balls to say this on why WWE is going to continue producing television shows during this pandemic. And I quote, "The health and safety of our superstars is first and foremost paramount. It comes down to leadership in many ways. Our leader, Vince McMahon, believes we have a social responsibility to put fans first and to help them get a break from what was coming and what we're in the midst of." So, what is it? fans first or the performer's health first? Which one is it, Mr. Executive Vice President? Which one is it, Vince? Tell me, which one are you trying to put out there first? And are the fans really enjoying the product you're giving them right now? We have a responsibility to take them away for a few hours and give them a smile and a chance to feel something other than what they're watching, which is also important on the news. Don't give me that bullshit. Don't give me that bullcrap. It's like I said again, your responsibility is, yes, you have a show to produce, but what exactly are you giving us that's worth 5 hours? Like, combined. Actually 7, because you have to have NXT, which has also been a shit fest to watch. Other than a couple of things. Raw, I've completely avoided. SmackDown, I've also avoided. Actually, all of pro wrestling I've avoided because it's just so unbearable to watch during this COVID crisis. Because outside of AEW, wrestling has just been so creatively bankrupt. It's like they don't want to try. They're just like, oh, let's get in our Ferrari and just like coast down this endless trail. So, how are you taking the responsibility? How are you giving them a smile? Unless if it's like this smile. It's like this. So, he continues on and says, we leaned in to say we're going to put fans first and do everything we can, working with the state, local, and federal officials to make sure it's safe for our most important resource, the WWE wrestlers, and we're going to do whatever we can to deliver content for our partners and fans. Now, granted, you can believe whatever you want, but COVID cases in Florida is the worst out of every single state in this country, in the United States right now. Now, granted, the number could be inflated, and COVID cases don't always translate to passings. But still, how is the WWE ensuring like they were keeping the wrestlers safe when they just started testing people for COVID-19? All they were doing beforehand was checking people's temperatures and making them fill out a medical evaluation form. It's only when the sites like Pro Wrestling Sheet and Wrestling Observer and all the podcasts you could possibly think of started breaking the news of, oh, someone caught COVID again, and now there's multiple people testing positive, that WWE just started doing actual COVID tests. And I'm trying not to make this a WWE versus AEW thing, but do you know why it's like AEW hasn't had a positive COVID test until WWE caused John Moxley? Well, we don't know yet. Sorry, I don't want to get into that. But until John Moxley may have had it, that's because AEW actually, Tony Khan, he actually gives a shit. Tony Khan, well, even despite all the money the Jaguars get for their stadium from the NFL, Tony Khan actually gives a shit about the wrestlers. So what does he do? He checks each and every one of them, not just for the temperature, but if they actually have COVID. And then there's a bunch of other quotes in here. We understand the decision other sports made. We wouldn't have made the decision we made if we didn't think we could do it safely for our internal staff and for those affected, but we felt America needed it and needed the pick-me-up. does let me give this update from Cage Side Seats first before I really start to lose my shit. Before I start to lose my shit on this situation. So Sean Routier gave a rundown of updates from Friday morning on the latest COVID crisis from WWE. So, as I said earlier, Jamie Noble revealed on Instagram that he has COVID. And then Mike Johnson from Pro Wrestling Insider reported the number of positive results has increased since yesterday. Sportskeeda also said that they are now more than 30. Results are still coming in, according to Insider's Mike Johnson, and there's concern about everyone at every level of the company who is at the PC. Per Insider, some wrestlers are on the roster are in disbelief than others in the locker room that have continued going out to bars and other gatherings. Really? Hold on. Some wrestlers on the rosters are in disbelief that other wrestlers in the locker room have continued going out to bars and other gatherings and posted about it on social media since the company informed them of the additional COVID cases earlier this week. Really? Like, some wrestlers on these shows go to bars and like places like beaches and like other non-essential places like during this. Why? Why now? Why can't you wait? Wrestlers have contacted Fightful to ask about the number of positive COVID tests, stating the site would know better than them. Wow, that's actually pretty interesting. Sean Ross Sapp writes the wrestlers don't know how many COVID tests have been administered, let alone who tested positive. That's in contrast to the first COVID case around WrestleMania 36, where the company provided on who tested positive, how they were exposed, and what their prognosis was in an internal memo. There was a memo, by the way. I will read that for you shortly. Some PC talents were not asked to come in for testing until this week, according to Fightful. The site also posted a message it says was sent to all NXT talent yesterday at 9 a.m. And I quote, "Per Vince, all talent are needed for TV on Friday and Saturday. Please go to the Performance Center by 10:30 a.m. today for drive-through COVID testing. If you took it yesterday, you don't need it today. If you are in high-level storyline, you'll be off camera. Thank you. Important. After test, you'll need to remain isolated and quarantined until after the TV tapings. Many missed that deadline on short notice, and as of 5 p.m., we're still awaiting information about when the next test would be available." Sapp also claims numerous NXT and PC talent had reservations about attending Raw and SmackDown tapings today and tomorrow after this week's news, but were urged to come in even after expressing they weren't comfortable doing so. Wow, so they're pretty much forced into doing it. Fucking Vince. It seems Performance Center recruits in the crowd are wearing masks now, according to this Twitter thread from Chelsea Blackheart about today's tapings. Let's see it. Oh, well, you can't see it now, but well, I can't find it, but here. Here we go. Okay. Let me go here. There we go. Yeah, they're wearing masks in the crowd now, so that's a little bit of a plus there. Okay. And then there's a little bit more updates from NoDQ.com. So Paul Davis of WrestlingNews.co is reporting that people in WWE were not happy about Ric Flair being newsed at the last TV tapings due to the risk factor of him getting sick at his age. Well, he is 70 years old. The belief is that Flair will not attend any further tapings for the time being, and in addition to Flair, Davis wrote that at least 2 main roster stars were planning to not attend until masks are mandated for everyone who's not involved in a match. So that's one update. And then news reporter from Orlando, John Alba, noted the following about how many people tested positive for COVID-19. Sorry. The WWE Performance Center COVID-19 outbreak is in the double digits. He has been told by multiple sources. He has heard different things about the exact number, but hoping that everyone is ultimately safe now. Tapings continue today through tomorrow. Let me see if there is any more updates on this. Okay, there is none. So Brian Alvarez of Wrestling Observer also discussed the current situation regarding the positive COVID-19 tests. So Raw, as I said earlier, is not taping today. They have announced that Raw is being taped tomorrow. What have I been told by multiple people is that they tested everybody on the Raw side and they did not like the results, so they're retesting everybody. And they are moving the show until tomorrow. I have no numbers. Whatever number it is, it was enough that they didn't tape today. End quote. And I quote, I was told that tomorrow is also the day that a lot of other results are going to come back. The feeling is tomorrow is going to be another bad day in terms of results. Oh boy. There's more that I heard, but I have not confirmed it yet. If you think what I just told you is bad, it's bad. It is bad. I will tell you as much as I am able to tell you, and if I hear more throughout the show, I will let you know. End quote. And Tom Kalohu of Sportskeeda, and he also chimed in. I've been told the number of people confirmed with coronavirus in the WWE has passed 30. A number of early negatives are now positive. Things have drastically changed in the last week. And that's where we are. Well, actually, sorry. Scratch that. Because there was one more thing I want to say about the detail before I get into my thoughts about this latest development. So, Wrestling Inc. got a email from a WWE developmental talent who wished to remain anonymous regarding WWE's COVID-19 positive test results and how wrestlers can't say anything public about having the virus. The mandate was apparently only sent to in-ring talent, which is why personalities such as Renee Young and producer Adam Pearce were able to go public with their results. And this is what the letter says, and I quote, now that WWE has more talent and staffers starting to test positive, we have been informed by Talent Relations not to discuss our illness with anyone besides those we may live with that we may know. That may need to know. We are forbidden to tell anyone else, nor can we publicly come out to make any statements. It was stressed that WWE will take care of any medical treatments should we need them. In the same breath, it was made clear that the company would handle the PR and only those that needed to know about our condition would know as HIPAA laws. Let me search that up real quick. What is that? The Health Insurance Portability and Accountability, which requires the creation of national standards to protect sensitive patient health information from being disclosed without the patient's consent or knowledge. Would prevent them from making our names public. While I appreciate WWE's assistance helping those of us during these unprecedented times, WWE put us in this position in the first place. All right. They continue to tape multiple shows a day that average 10 to 12 hours plus for at least 2, sometimes 3 days in a row. Those in the audience are kept in air-conditioned tents away from the active talent and staff that are housed in other sets of tents on Performance Center property. Most people were not tested until last week, as we were told that didn't believe the validity of some of the testing being done. They figured they would have their own so-called testing, which included temperature check and a medical eval form. But no testing for COVID-19. Look where it got them now. Yes, indeed. Look where it got them freaking now. Some people were asked to invite friends, family, and some fans that befriended to attend shows at the PC. How do you think they feel now? Knowing potentially they put those they regarded as close to them in harm's way. And yes, it was true that Kevin Dunn didn't allow fans to wear masks and made a scene twice over the PA to not wear masks. So it is true. It is true that Kevin Dunn, the hey kids, it's Goofy the Gopher, it's Gooby Goober, told you, no masks. It's a shame that these people came out to support the talent and company they love and were treated this way. In closing, I would like to give you some information on our medical screening process, as most have been calling it a questionnaire. One of the questions asked is, have we done anything that would put ourselves at risk for contracting COVID-19? That includes being around large gatherings of people and not wearing masks, where it's suggested that we do so. Some have attended packed beaches, parties, and recently opened amusement parks in Florida. I didn't know Florida. Well, it is Florida after all. They know better than to post pictures on their social media accounts, as they shouldn't be attending these locations in the first place. They'll talk about where they've gone, but won't mention it when it comes time to be screened. It's very unfortunate that WWE puts business first and the health and safety of everyone second. We will come together. I cannot say the same thing about WWE management. The train is not only off the tracks, but has gone off the cliff in a blaze of glory. And then Brian Alvarez said, and I quote, "I can tell you for a fact that the company doesn't want anyone tweeting about if they are positive. I've heard other names that have tested positive that haven't tweeted about it." And then WrestlingNews.co said, "There are some friends and family that are now affected." And that's where we are. That's where we now are with the WWE COVID-19 outbreak. And wow. I do want to ask you all this. And I'm serious. I'm dead serious when I ask this. As much as the media has been overinflating it, overblowing it, y'all still think that this virus is not risky and deadly as hell? Again, in fairness, the media is, I think they're completely overdoing it. Like, I think the number of COVID cases, I don't know if that's the real number. I don't know if it's the real number. But even if it was, it's like, how do we know for sure? It's like, does it always translate to deaths? But even, like, I don't know. All I can say is, just because the number of cases for COVID-19 don't exactly match the number of deaths, that doesn't mean the virus is still deadly. Especially when there's still no vaccine for it. And if I'm being real with you, cases have been going up and up and up due to the protests that have been going on throughout this month. And things slowly opening back up prematurely, might I add you, in certain states. I know here in the Bay Area, they've opened up certain retail malls for curbside pickup, and they've opened up beaches. Which, by the way, even if you do go to the beach, wear your damn mask, please. Or don't go to the beach at all. Unless, just wear your damn mask. Wear your damn mask. And wash your freaking hands. And take a good shower. Now back to WWE. I believe I said last week on this video cast, I said if Vince McMahon continues to brush off COVID-19, like it was just no big deal, then it's going to bite them in the ass. And look where we are now. It's quickly, not slowly but surely, but as quick as a Naruto run, it's quickly bit him in the ass. Just over 1 week ago, we had the first positive COVID test in the last 2 months. Now, granted, it was only just the second COVID test since March. And now we know who was the one that tested positive. It was Kayla Braxton. Now, again, 2 in 2 months. Okay. But the problem is, it's like they're just now getting it under control. They're only now getting it under control. And when Kayla Braxton got it under, got COVID, WWE just brushed it off. They brushed it off aside. And they only elected to do temperature checks and medical questionnaire forms. And again, I'm gonna say it time and time again. I'm not gonna try to make this an AEW versus AEW thing, but it's like they're not testing. They didn't test anyone for COVID, unlike what AEW did. Now, it's only when they found out, not just a second time, but what's being reported by many, more than 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times that someone has COVID. Now they decide to actually test people for COVID, not just temperature checks, but for COVID. Gee, that worked well for WWE for just doing temperature checks, because guess what, Vince, and guess what, Mr. We now know that at least 4 people have COVID, and who knows if, let's hope to God that John Moxley doesn't have it. Who knows that there could be more. There could be more. And it's insane. All because Vince believes that, outside of WWE, inside WWE, it's just our own little world. It's our own little world. And shit like this, it's kind of shameful to be a wrestling fan. It really is. This whole time, the whole time, this whole year, as a wrestling fan, it's really been a pain in the ass. It's kind of made me wonder, why am I a wrestling fan? Is it the wrestlers? Is it the company? I don't know. But as we find out with how WWE's been treating the COVID situation, as we find out, people are getting accused of different things, and people trying to cancel wrestlers. I don't know. It's pretty shitty. It's been a pretty shitty year for wrestling. But going back to this. It's been 3 months. It's been 3 months since, a certain someone made a decision to opt out of a Universal title match at WrestleMania to keep both his family and his own damn self safe from COVID. And here we are 3 months later. He looks goddamn smart for doing so now. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, go Google it. Because, let's face it, had he stayed for the Universal title match, his health would have been completely compromised. And if he caught COVID, then... But let's try not to think that way. Let's try not to. If WWE's not going to handle this properly, they got to shut it down. And all it takes, like, I hate to say this, I really do. If somebody tests positive, if another person tests positive for COVID, and they go, it's over. They're gonna get shut down. They're gonna get shut down. Again, if somebody gets COVID and they're gonna get shut down. Nobody is gonna get shut down, whether Vince wants to or not. But then again, this is the same company that let Owen Hart die, that left its rosters to rot in Saudi Arabia, and are still in this shitty deal with Saudi Arabia, and released wrestlers in the middle of a pandemic, and are clearly not taking care of its wrestlers during said pandemic. At this point, I don't know. I don't know what to think of WWE anymore. But at the same time, it's like we have to think, how can they shut it down? Like, they have the archival material, but the networks also look just as bad because, NBC Universal, Fox, they want new content, but it's just like, they got to be more understanding with this COVID-19 situation going on. It's like, you can't be putting these wrestlers out there at risk. It's like, they got to wake Vince the fuck up. They got to wake themselves the fuck up. It's like, this is unethical. If they think that they need new content, this is unethical. It really is. So, overall, as I said last week, and I'm going to say it again, WWE's handling this very poorly. And they're continuing to handle it very poorly. And by God, their true colors are really showing. It's like Vince, like, as much as he has done for the wrestling business, like, he's expanded, he's put pro wrestling like on the map with like megastars like Hogan, Austin, Rock, Cena. He has treated almost everyone, like a lot of his wrestlers, pretty poorly. And if this COVID-19 pandemic doesn't convince you otherwise, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Then, man, it's a really crappy situation. It really is. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. And all I could say at the end of the day is that for once, just for once, Vince needs to stop thinking about himself, his money, the network contracts, and think about the wrestler's health. Otherwise, the CDC, the World Health Organization, or heck, maybe, like, by some small chance, Donald Trump and the federal government will shut him down. And that's a very small chance that he does, because, Donald Trump and Vince McMahon are butt buddies. They might shut Vince down until Vince fixes this abomination. Then, who will Vince blame? Think about it. Other than that, it's just like, this is really messed up. This is just really messed up. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for you for tonight on Dylan Lasagna Live, episode number 63. That was a lot to delve into, especially with this last topic. And I don't know. This was just icing on the cake for WWE. It's like, I don't know. It's like, what has become of them? What has become of wrestling? But at the end of the day, it's like there's just assholes. That's all I could say. But what do you guys think about the topics that I talked about today? That was a lot to digest. Let me know in the comments below, especially if you're watching this on demand. But other than that, that's pretty much all I got for you tonight. So make sure you leave a like, comment down below, and if you're not already, make sure you're subscribed. What are you waiting for? Press the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you're notified of every time I upload a video or if I'm live. Tap the bell. Anyway, and if you want to, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at DylanLasagna, and if you want to, you can also follow me on Instagram. It's the same username, and again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm gonna be working on the 10th anniversary videos. It can be like a 2 or 3 video or two on like highlighting like the different years of my channel. Like I do want to highlight the early years of my channel, and at least this like the last 5 years of my channel, because I think that's when I really started become committed to this channel, even though it's pretty much dead at this point. I always say my channel's dead, but I like to have fun I always like to come back to YouTube and like do it for fun, But anyway, look out for that over the next week, as we lead up to the 10th anniversary of my channel. And I don't know what we're gonna do on the exact day, but just stay tuned. All right, everyone. That's all I got for you tonight. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Always be delicious, and I will see you all next time. Take care, everyone. Good night.